I might be able to play this shit then. Let's see. How'd she do it? That seems like it works. PJ, what's happening, my man? Let me see if I can I don't know if I can bring it up, but I can play the audio at least. Let me see. I don't know if I can fully bring it up. But let me find this. See if we can get the audio in here.
Thrill of victory. Sectional champions. But if you can see that number 3 over there, he put it down by himself. He had 32. That number 3 right there, he had 32.
Fans, it is now time for the Section 2-4.
Good job,
presentation. Tonight we want to give out to our student athletes of both schools by their athletic directors.
Yeah, so tonight, as I call it, God's favorite. We end up winning the sectional champions. The nephew had I got the fucking stats. I got my stats and shit. I keep the stats. I like that bag. It's just an old bag I had forever. I had to sit on like 2-3 blankets. But I'll read these stats. Oh, but welcome. Shit, if y'all don't know who I am, this is Big Pontiac coming at you, from the sacred valleys or the sacred hills of Burnsville, the sacred lands of Black Dog. What's happening, PJ? What's happening, Mac Bones? Did you just see the buzzer game winner, Mac versus the Lakers? It looked obviously manipulated. I missed it. I was watching the college game. Kind of forgot that one was on because I ain't been home that long. Man, that March Madness bracket all fucked up. Oh yeah, that's nephew's game. They won the sectional championship. He had 20 points. He had 2 assists. He had 2 rebounds. He only had 1 turnover. He had 1 steal, and he had a block. Another player, Jalen Kane, he had 20 points, 1 assist. He had 6 rebounds, 5 steals, and 2 blocks. But there was another brother. This is a name we're going to see again. His name is Maxwell Woods. Maxwell Woods had 32 on him. He's the cat that just went to his left. I mean, he had some... And this is where I look at my own coaching experience and how you have to face people. Because what I see from most of these coaches in this new age of coaching is they live and die with man-to-man. Now, if I'm up by 4 and I'm going back on defense, if I see a dude that's driving and penetrating the ball and he's scoring and getting and ones, I'm going to throw a 1-3-1 press on him when I'm up by 4. I'm going to hit him with a 1-3-1 and I'm doubling him. So he's got to get a ball up. Or I'm fouling. If I'm up by 4, I would rather stay up by 2 and get the ball back and keep that 2 point. And so I don't get coaches that don't do that. And coaches give up. Like the coach gave up 6 points when he should have gave up 4. So, but so we'll be in Target Center next week. So yeah, as I say, God's favorite. This place was packed. There's about 2,500 people in there. And, my Kundalini just goes crazy. And, I had a good time. Now, today on the games, let me see which ones did I lose today. Out of the 14 today, trying to think what I lost today. I lost Purdue, but y'all know I didn't have Purdue coming out of there. I had Michigan State coming out of there. So even though I lost Purdue, I didn't mind losing that one. Yeah. So Fairleigh Dickinson, but that was a joke. When we saw Arizona go out, we kind of should have figured they were going to get Purdue out. They want to get the big guys out. I lost Memphis, which, 8 losing to a 9 ain't really an upset. I won Kentucky, won Kansas State, won Michigan State, won Marquette. Trying to think. I won more today than yesterday. Friday games, Miami, Indiana. I think I even won this Pittsburgh game, even though they came see Xavier. No, that was, yes, Xavier game. Yeah, I got Penn State going to the Elite Eight. Texas was last night. Let's see, tonight, Friday, got St. Mary's, got UConn, got TCU, Gonzaga. Yeah, so I think I was 14 games tonight. I only lost one. Looks like I only lost one game tonight. So bracket's not really busted. Indiana looked damn good. Indiana looked damn good tonight. So Kibler, man, that March Madness, this nephew's game. Yeah, Kibler killed us back to put us out of the playoff. Here we go. What's good? Hey, Pale Horse. Upjet looks clean. Thank you. Davis did a good job in playing his script today. Yeah, I missed that. I cashed out right before Dallas came back. Okay. Yeah, I forgot the pro game was on and finished watching that Indiana game. And so tomorrow, and I got a candle burning. I might have to put that motherfucker out. I don't know. My sinuses seem to be going crazy. So please, hey, Jeffrey, thank you for joining. So tomorrow I have Houston over UAB. I have, let me see, Friday. Okay, Saturday games. I have Penn State beating Texas. I like Penn State. Nah, I don't know. I think I like Texas to beat Penn State. Kansas to beat Arkansas. Yeah, Kansas to beat Arkansas. UCLA to beat Northwestern. And Alabama to beat Maryland. San Diego State to beat Furman. Baylor's going to beat, well, that's Sunday. Missouri, Princeton. Missouri should beat Princeton. Saturday. Oh, those all are Sunday, all the Sunday games. Okay. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I was just saying yesterday, not here, but Purdue might derails everyone basket. Their logo is a train. Soon as I put all that connection together, I was like 7 small belts that added up. Okay, to a nice bag. Bad. You stayed a nuclear power plant leak in November. Just came out with an hour. Just giving you a heads up. Yeah, that's in Monticello. Matter of fact, my fiance didn't even know it because we go up that way. If we go like north, like to St. Cloud, or we go to Alexanderville, go that north, 94. Monticello is where the nuclear plant is. That's about 50 miles from me, maybe not even that far. But yeah, it'd take me about an hour to get up there. Monticello, yeah, I caught that. I caught that they had a leak. Let me tell you what's fucked up. I'll tell you what's fucked up about the nuclear plant and then how money and politics can change things. See, these Lakotas up here ain't been rich forever. And it's just one of these tribes that's rich. It ain't like all the tribe. The Obuijis ain't rich up north. So it ain't like all the tribes is rich. And before they had this casino money, they was putting nuclear waste on their lands. Yeah, that was a big thing in the 90s. Them putting before they built that casino out there, they was putting nuclear waste on these natives' lands. Yeah. Now, I don't know what's cleaned up. I can't go further than that, but that's what they used to do to them. Left my glass downstairs. Sorry. And my allergies are at a full. I might have to kill this candle. I'll see how much I'm sniffling and snorting. My fault. I witnessed the name. My fault. Yeah, it's up in Monticello. Yeah, this candle. Give me a second. I gotta put this candle out. I ain't gonna be able to stand this. All right, I hope that's better for me. Ah, scoot back up in it. Yeah, the game was a whiteout game, so everybody was wearing white and shit. I had to wear the parka. It's cold up here. My son sent me a picture from March of 2010. In March on 2010, on the 16th, it was 80 degrees here. Today, when I just came in the house about an hour ago, it is 8 degrees above. It is 8 degrees above. 8 degrees above. So, make sense out of that, y'all. Make sense out of that. How is it in years past it could be 80 degrees this time of year, but yet here it is in March and it's 8 above zero. This is like November, December, January temperatures. No, I was at the high school game. I didn't go to the Wolves game tonight. No, I didn't go to their game tonight. No, I was at a high school game. UConn is winning it all. We'll see. But no, I was at the high school game. I was out in Minnetonka. Certain years, UConn basketball men and women just took over and get to cheating and shit. I say Texas can do it. Okay, we'll see. Chiefs guy. Do you keep your laptop? Do you keep your laptop wireless? Laptop? I don't have a laptop. This is a tabletop. Yeah, this is a tabletop. This is a tabletop unit. So, yeah. Odd question, but yeah. And you complain about 48. Yeah, that's why I had my park on. Like, you look at my picture in my whatever thing is, and I'm wearing that big Tommy parka. That's what I had on. But you know what? And I should know, my other boys was like this. We go to the game. It's 8. It's 8. It's like we walk in the gym. It's 8 above zero. I pick up my daughter. She gives some excuse about no coat. So I'm like talking shit to her because, if the car break down, you ain't got no coat, you'll freeze to death, blah, 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 blah. We get in the gym. Half the people in high school don't have any coats on. Make that make sense. None of them had coats on. It was the dude in the game. It was a dude in the gym with just a t-shirt on and some long pants. So, they know they're not going to break down. They know that, everywhere around you is at least hotel. If you break down and can't get home, you can at least there's a hotel within where you could just go to. But most of the time you can get home. So these people are spoiled. Have you seen the TV series called Brain Dead on CBS? It came in 2016. It was for only one season, and there's a reason for that too. I did not. Hey, Lorenzo. I've been sneezing. Okay, so maybe a little bit of cold. Dealing with PJ, I'm riding with Kansas City, but if it ain't Kansas, then I am saying Texas. They crazy as hell. It's bone chilling. I'm telling you, man. I went in the gym. Half the young people in there did not have coats on, especially girls. They didn't have coats on. So my daughter with a sweatshirt on, and what do they call those little sandals with the cork like Birkin, or what are they called? The cork sandals. She had a pair of them on. I'm like, my goodness. To each his own. To each his own. To each his own. Having no coat and 8 degrees weather is just crazy. I'm telling you. Now I've got this big hat on. I've got my parka, not just my winter coats. I've got my parka to go down to my knees. That's how cold it is. Shit, I had to get gas today. And I didn't wear that white parka because I'm not getting gas in that white parka, but I know I wore another one. There we go. This sudden weather change got me sick, but I'm feeling better. I'm glad you're feeling better. Cause my fiance, she's definitely got a little bit, and then we're at the restaurant. She's like, "Oh, this tea is really good. Have a drink." I'm not even thinking. I'm drinking after her, and as you see, I'm all stopped up. Ah, I'm gonna keep sneezing. ah, I'm gonna have to go blow my nose or something eventually. I got something in here. Blow my nose on something. So bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Hope I don't gross you out too much. Oh, let me send some high vibrations out here to everybody. So isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? John Wick's about to come out. John Wick number, what is it, 200 is about to come out. And the one guy passes before the John Wick is about to come out. And even though the guy, I know he got fame off other things, but it's funny. He's like 60 years old and suddenly dies. Now, I can't say if he's been fighting something or not. I can't really say. I'm definitely going to have to blow my nose. Y'all going to have to give me a second.
Josh Ock. Grant Muffetmeyer.
Woo. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, feeling a little better. Feeling a little better. Feeling a little better. Thank you for bearing with, old man. I've been talking with Trey Burke, who played for Michigan, and he thinks the games are controlled by frequency or energy, with the refs being in on it. I'll say this: I've noticed this, and I've touched on this a little bit. One thing that I think really has to be considered. One thing that I think has to be considered is, and I know this sounds, no, it don't really sound. If you really look at, and strictly going by high school gyms at this point, I wonder how much the ventilation system affects 3-point shots just in the high school level, because all ventilation systems run very high. And here in Minnesota, I mean, you got to pump out heat in these gyms, and I really wonder how ventilation system affects the shots. Of course, we know as we go in, because high school is really the only high school AAU. Now, if it's a televised high school game, that makes me wonder. But basically, high school and AAU, that's the only thing that we really look at is not possibly having magnets. But as I am in these high school gyms, it just makes me wonder how much the ventilation system does affect the shooting. So, yeah, they did manhandle them in the Big 12 title game, but knowing how that goes, and then they matched in the post season. It was only for one season because they were telling too much truth. So, well, that seems to be the battle in Hollywood. There's a lot of truth out there, and a lot of the standard. As soon as he told me that he dropped 40 for the Kings, the Stockton Kings, bet. The next day, he read all Zach Hubbard's book and knows what time is it, but says the players are not in on it. Okay, then he's capping. If he's saying all that, he's capping, because Trey Burke gonna get pension money. So keep that in mind. Trey Burke played long enough to get pension money. So he capping if he's saying they ain't in on it. That ain't true. If they ain't in on it, what play did Isaiah Thomas make in? What year was that? 85, 84? When all he had to do was call timeout and set up a play. And still Isaiah Thomas tries to get the ball in quick and throws it to Larry Bird, who throws it to Dennis Johnson. It was like the only way they could lose, he actually did. And then we saw the college game the other day. Instead of calling a timeout, he just heaves the ball in the middle of the court. So the players are in on it. The players are in on it from the college level. That's where they hone their skill to see what kind of fixer they can be. As I said, why do you think these players hang on so long? They want people that can fix, and they want people to teach people how to do the fix, how to do the script. So if a pro player gets pension money, you got to look at him sideways. That's why people's giving Kwame Brown all this attention, but Kwame Brown played long enough to get pension money. So they have a non-disclosure to get that pension money, so they can only go so far. And we ain't talking about a little bit of money. These people get this like OJ. OJ gets $250,000 for the rest of his life. That is what is it called? Asset protected. Did y'all know that NFL pensions is asset protected? I didn't know that, but yeah, that's why the Goldmans and none of them can get any of OJ's money. Like, he's supposed to have been in prison all them years. He was still making $250,000 all them years in prison. So when he gets out, that's still whatever his operating cost is outside because he still got properties and shit. But yeah, OJ has $250,000 that's asset protected that the Goodwins or whatever the fuck their name is can't touch. So if they make a pension, you got to kind of wonder what they say. Could be helping, yeah. I was 86 or 87 Eastern Finals. Yeah, Lorenzo. Yeah. Leonard, what's happening? I mean, the big fellas on Purdue couldn't score every possession. Pro players are not in on it. The players on college levels are in on it. I mean, that's where they learn to be in on it is in college. And pro players are in on it. You can't tell me they're not. Let's take James Worthy. What, in 88? James Worthy got Magic Johnson right next to him. But no, what does he do? He tries to throw across court and throws it into Henderson. Again, the only way they could lose. James Worthy has Magic Johnson next to him, but he tries to throw a cross-court pass that Henderson gets, and Henderson makes a layup. And you say the players ain't in on it. The players are in on it. As I gave an example last night. It was a game that was the game was over for the Timberwolves. And the dude shot it from damn near half court and hit. And this is nothing but for the point spread. It's nothing but for the point spread. So I disagree. I say do more research. The player's been on it. They have a video of the actor from John Wick a couple of days ago, and they said he was something strange during the interview. Well, they sign up for this. So when you sign up for it, you got to suffer. That's all. Said he was approached by Bron and Rich after that special run they went on with Michigan, and they was too aggressive, and what they was doing didn't work. Oh, okay. So he right on, Trey. Looks like Trey dodged some handlers. They was trying to get to be one of his handlers, and he rejected being their handlers. Right on. I like that. That he rejected being their handlers or rejected being handled by them. Good for him. That's good for him because that's what they're trying to do. They send these handlers right at you. See, that was the biggest thing that, like, when they did that FBI sting, that's who they went after. They went after all the handling middlemen. There was assistant coaches and all that. I mean, if y'all know the game and y'all got, have relatives or children that have been in AAU, you start getting graded in AAU is the lowest level. The lowest level of AAU is graded. They start taking headshots. You ain't never been in AAU games when they line everybody up before games and start taking headshots? Yeah, you talking about, the NFL Combine is the type of slave grading. A lot of y'all bit that from some shit somebody said back years ago. But anyway, it's the same thing in AAU. When you get graded, it's the same way, looking at different levels of skill. So, man, I lost my knife. Didn't know it was in one of my coats. If I don't carry a pistol, I always carry this knife. I ain't know what the hell I did with it. This is handmade in Pennsylvania. What do they call that? DeMarcus? Shit, I ain't had to sharpen this or nothing. This shit is just as sharp as the day I bought it. And I've had this for 6 years at least. And I carry this every day. I like razors. I like razor knives. Kind of got hooked on them in the 80s. You know, razor knives was called pill busters. Here's a little history for you. This is almost what's called, I mean, a lot of people look at this and call this a tanto. But if you look at Civil War, one reason why surgeons carried knives like this, these were called pill busters, and they were called pill busters because these type of knives, see, the problem with the Civil War balls was these round balls in Civil War would break off limbs and would damage them to the point where you had to amputate the limb. And so to amputate the limb, they needed something like this to just bust through that bone, you know, bust through the bone and all them arteries and be able to tie a person off. That's why you see so many, if you look at Civil War veterans, you see so many with missing limbs because the balls would literally tear all that shit up where there's no repairing. So that's actually why they went to, you know, littler bullets, like 2.26s and 5.6s, whatever. But this is what's, you know, surgeons carried something similar to this so they could just pop through bone and tie everything off. I don't know. I carry like 3 knives all the time. It's just kind of something I feel comfortable. Edney from Purdue is going to get ate up alive against Sinners, like he did. My boy Sims got sent down from the Knicks. What is Sims' name from Texas? But he got sent down. I don't know why they quit playing him. He's 6'10", 6'11" out of Texas. But he's with the Knicks, and they sent him back to the G League. So I wanted to mention that. I forgot. He's a guy from up here. Purdue choked in calls. Duke has an easy path to the Final Four. I would say Indiana. Look out for Indiana, too. That's who I picked. Oh, yeah, DeMarcus Leonard. Yeah, it's definitely DeMarcus Steele. I carry one, too. Oh, yeah, I carry knives and guns. It's just kind of what I've always done since I was 19. I've carried a gun with me almost every day since I was 19 years old. It wasn't, I lived a gangster life or none of that. It was just a very young age. I had a fascination with guns and I had enough money to buy them. So the 7 years I lived in North Carolina, the laws are so different where, just everybody carries guns all the time. When I lived down there from 79 to 85, just guns. And so handles cases laminated. That's nice too. Well, thank you, Leonard. Wolverine claw. Nice. Look. Sharp. Yeah, it's sharp. You got the Jack the Ripper joy. Jack the Ripper. Oh, you carry a Glock. I'm a SIG, and I always carry a fucking 38. I got a couple different. I got a couple different 38s. I love little guns because it's just the big guns. Like I've got a P320 that carries 21 rounds. So if I carry all 4 magazines, I have like 80 some rounds worth of. And, for anything, that's more than enough for anything. Just standard, go out and carry. Even 21 rounds is really just enough. And even when I just carry a couple Rugers that shoot fucking 5 shots of each, shit, that's more than enough. The average gun fight is three to 4 shots. So, yeah, just pickleball champ is here. I'll never take the jab. I have to take off pickleball another week. I've had acupuncture and I had therapy on my arm today, and he begged me not to start. So he wants me to hold off. So I have to get another acupuncture and another set of, they don't want me to start lifting. But I've already started running, so yeah. Pickleball champ, you tell me when you want to meet, because, it's about to get serious with pickleball. It's about to get real serious with pickleball. I am going to be in great shape. Come May, when we had these mornings, it'd be 6 o'clock. And here, the old folks all play at 6 in the morning. So from May 1st to 6 in the morning, I'm going to do a show, get off, get a little bit of sleep, drink coffee, take my water, take all my vitamins, eat, and then fucking go to the pickleball at 6 in the morning, starting May 1st. And gonna get two or three 2 to 5 games in. Yeah, and then play in the afternoon too. I used to hoop like that. See, I don't know if people understand. When I hustled, I also hooped constantly. Like I ain't have to work, so I hooped in the morning. And in the wintertime, I would play semi-pro basketball in the winter, and then I would play semi-pro basketball in the evenings when I hustled. So the idea of somebody that just hustled and just was fat sitting around, that wasn't never me. Shit, I played semi-pro basketball for 20 years. I ref for 20 years. So I was always on a basketball court. And that's the thing. My youngest sons didn't really grow up like that. But my 2 oldest did. Gym rats, gym rats. Somebody was just explaining to me how GTA works. And I was blown away, like 10 minutes just sitting there. Oh, bet. You want to smoke? Stop it. You want no smoke. Now, I ain't great in one-on-one, but we can play couples. Couples, 2-on-2, yeah, I deal with anybody. I mean, I got so in tune last year where I was seeing it off other people's paddles that, I get into it, baby. I keep my guns at home. Nah, I take them around because, you just never know. You never know. I love it, brother. Keep crushing. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I've just been in the habit always of carrying guns since, like I said, I was 19. And when I was a police officer, shit, I carried 3 guns when I was a police officer. Plus, we had the shotgun. We hadn't switched over when I was a cop back in the late 80s and early 90s. We hadn't switched over to having the AR in the cars. We still had shotguns in the cars. So I carried 3 guns on me and then had a shotgun in the car. So I didn't fear shit. That never scared me. Being a cop never scared me. I could never live in fear like that. Yeah, I would never be in fear. Never felt fear. I'm actually always been taught that, you face fear. You don't run from it, you face it. Now, you avoid danger if you can, but fear, you have to face it. You can't run from fear. You can run from danger. There's always a thing called a strategic retreat. That's always in play. Look, never live. Do you like Avatar 2? It was okay. I thought parts of it was made bad on purpose, really. I really did. I thought parts of it was made bad on purpose. But for the most part, it was okay. I would say, I get motivated by people. And Sly really motivated me, to show the strong family ties, the adaptation. But I thought, again, could have been a movie by itself. Some of the parts of it, but as the parts I talked about, Moby Dick was a copy. The destroying of the trees when that first plane lands. I mean, this is showing colonization that never ends. So it was okay. I like Creed. Like I said, I like Creed. Because Creed, it wasn't any Europeans making decisions in Creed. Creed was all brothers making decisions. That was beautiful. I say Creed was the best boxing ever. The best boxing representation as far as a fight, Yeah, I saw Ant-Man 3. I broke that down a couple weeks ago. There's a lot of people that say, things are probabilities, and they kind of get off on that kind of thing. And I broke down how, they should try to show probabilities in Ant-Man, because when Ant-Man goes into that one dimension and he's trying to, and he doesn't realize why he keeps separating, how he keeps separating. Well, the separation, he ends up making a ladder like an ant would make. An ant can make a ladder, hence, Ant-Man. So he makes the Ant-Man ladder to get up to his main consciousness. But up to then, it was like all the probabilities. And that's why I was trying to explain to y'all this new art form they're trying to give you. You are inputting this new art form. You are giving it your imagination. And so it's learning how to be you. It's learning how you imagine. And I don't know if you want to, I know it seems so innocent to put together, and you look at this thing, but it's like, it's trying to be you. So the people that believe in probabilities and stuff, that scene was kind of deep for Ant-Man. but a lot of it was Star Wars. The bar and stuff. That was made bad on purpose. So, so yeah, it's not too many movies I didn't see. There's always a guy that was good at street ball, never make it, never made the high school teams. Let me tell you my story of my friend. My friend named Jackie Evans, and Jackie Evans didn't play high school ball, but Jackie Evans had a cousin um, that was going to where Walt Frazier, Southern Illinois, where Walt Frazier went. And Jackie was just playing summer, kind of pickup games at Southern Illinois, ended up making the team. And Jackie tried out for 7 NBA teams, and then Jackie played over in Europe, played pro ball in Europe. And this was a brother, and they voted him one of the best players ever out of Battle Creek, Michigan. So a guy who never played high school ball, but played professional ball over in Europe. And Jackie was my man. I told you, Jackie was he was older than me, and it was like Jackie couldn't jump. By the time I'm playing Jackie, I think when I first moved there in '86, Jackie was still probably in his 30s. He's probably had me by 10 years, so he still had a little bit left. But as the '80s went into the '90s, Jackie was on the team, and it's funny. Jackie was always the oldest on the team. He got kicked out of the Battle Creek League because he punched a dude. He punched a young dude that was putting in work, and he just straight punched him. I don't know. Then we go to the state tournament, and we play in the Detroit school where I played. We played in the Detroit team called Old School. And those of you that remember Terry Durod that played with Boston, Terry went to. I'm lunching right now. What school did Terry go to in high school? I'm lunching. But we played Terry Durod and them. During the game, Jackie, and this is all niggas from Detroit. Jackie punches one of these niggas from Detroit. So when you get in a fight in the state tournament, you get banned for a number of years. And I remember Jackie had just got over the ban, and then he punched one of these dudes from Detroit. And they ain't say shit to him, they ain't talking about popping trunks or nothing. That was just Jackie. And rest in peace. He's not with us. He died early. But that was my guy. Jackie would come in the gym, is like, I'm feeling 40 tonight. He was one of the first cats. Jackie's like, damn, I'm feeling 40 tonight. And he was always a dude that could catch and shoot. When I talked about, we had an open gym for 10 years that we kind of used the money for charity because everybody came in the gym. We charged, $1. And then we gave the money each week, or we saved the money each, because we played We played from October to March. So we saved all the money that we made from October going into Christmas, and we donated that money, and then we did the same thing going into the beginning of the year, whatever we made to March. And Jackie played with me every March. He played in that. So, yeah. That was my man. Do you feel like Marvel is falling off? Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Thor, Black Panther. And I'll say this. I didn't really think that I didn't think that Black Adam was that bad a movie. Again, it had the same thing. You had two melanated people that were the stars, and I think that's the issue that they mainly had with that, because I thought it was a very well thought-provoked movie that could have went on. Whereas Shazam, I have no nothing in me wants me to go see Shazam. Nothing in me. So which is which, DC, Marvel, I'm not sure, but I don't know. I think that movie that about the Russian woman, that movie sucked. Rostinov, or Black Widow, that movie really sucked. So yeah, in a way, the Thor, they brought the Thor wife, that wasn't a good movie. So I don't know. Yeah, I love Black Adam. I've watched it 3 times. What are your thoughts? Going to destroy? So very well could be. They very well could be. I don't really follow it enough, but very well could be. Very well could be. Trying to make it bad on purpose. Yeah. Because there's no reason why Black Adam shouldn't be shown continued as a series. Oh, my goodness, that candle smelled so good, but man, it was getting my sinuses. Okay, I'm not going to move too much. If I'm moving too much for you, sorry. And so, I'm really vibing high tonight. Gods do have their favorite, and when the gods' favorites win, you feel joyous, but yet you're able to enjoy everybody and all the energy. I mean, the gym was so loud. Like my nephew hit 4 critical free throws with people screaming, and I mean, it was like when 2,000 people plus in there, and there's a noise they can make, and to make those under pressure. And my nephew to have his highest scoring games the last 2 weeks in the semifinal and the final. I mean, he's peaking at the right time. So, and that just gets my kundalini going, and that's why I'm saying, it's no beef to these other gods, but it's like it's no fun to be God on the island, and it's no fun to be God in the house. It's better to be gods amongst the people. It's better to be somewhere where you're in an environment, especially the gym, and the way I represent the Hero Twins and that kundalini going off and being able to share that with everyone. That's positive. And you say, what's real? Well, that's real. When all these people go in there and, they want their teams to do so well and all that energy they put into it, that is real. That's not manipulated. So there are some real aspects left in the sacred infinite ball game. And you just have to find the linings in it. Even in the pro sports, we see it. I mean, it's very, very little in it, but we see it from time to time. And so our job is to see what true sport is. That's why you go to your children's events and you go to these individual younger people events, because this is what pure sports is now. This is what it's turned into. You dig? So, it's like Superman saving people. Yeah, it's not Superman's job to save people. It's Superman's job to show people they can save themselves by not living in fear. Like what? Like it's like what attention? It's like I dress and I'm noticed everywhere I go just because of the way I dress. But it's not people. Okay. This is the simplest way to say it. People don't recognize God. That's a simple way I can tell you. People don't recognize God when they sit next to God. They don't recognize it. And so there's no attention being God. See, after the game, like the little clip I was playing, after the game, when they're cutting down the nets and shit, I walked out the gym. I don't need that. You understand? I don't need the celebration. I already got what I came in to get. My kundalini and me able to release my kundalini to everyone. So yes, the God's favorite did win, but I didn't need to be part of the celebration because the game was a celebration for me. And my nephew was looking for me. He's running off the court because all the family there but me. And then he saw me and he comes up and gives me a hug. But I didn't need that. You see, I avoided that part. You understand? I didn't need that part. That part, the God don't need that part. The God already did his work. So you don't need to be part of the celebration. I don't need to be up front in the videos, all on the record. I don't need none of that. My daughter had to go to the bathroom. I sat in the hallway of the gym, the entrance. Because I didn't need to be part of that. You see, that's the attention. That's some gods do. They need to be all, I paid for the jerseys. They need all of that. Some gods need that. That's why I say, you got these aliens and non-humans want to be famous. What do they call it? They call it you got the European tribe and European people. It's two different things. So, and that's I was just thinking about that, but that's really how it is. I done my part. The celebration is for them. The celebration ain't for the gods. The celebration is for them. Yeah. Oh yeah. The children see it. The children see it. It's like it came, I told you a game where, nephew was struggling. He looked at me one time because his father and his parents deal with emotion. He looked at me one time and I hit him like, be a man. That's what I gave him. I ain't look away. I had no emotion. He couldn't read. I ain't give him no poker face. My only face was, telepathically hitting him. You got to be a man through this. Because it's 30-some games. You're going to change. And now he's peaking at the right time. So that's how I get off. That's why I go to these games. Because I get something. It's entities that want to feed off this stuff. And let me tell you something, though. I'll tell you something I saw. And I can't explain it. I thought I saw a smoke bomb released in the gym. Wasn't very thick, but I saw it. I saw it it was on the other side of the gym, and there was some smoke there. Now, I can't tell you what that smoke was because I know nothing was released because they would have called a fire, but I saw some mist. I caught a little mist, so I don't know what that mist was, but I caught some mist. So, it's both sides. Look at this shit. But let me tell you a little magic I had to do. Oh, my goodness. This is magic. And I'll just show you how you have to correct yourself in magic. And this is a real thing. And so this is the program. I had to rip it because I had a piece of gum. So this is the program. And so normally when I keep stats because it keeps my mind busy to keep stats. But I keep the other teams. I'm looking at the other team and like I noted the guy that had 32. I always put the highlights of the other players. And I was watching, as I wrote the game, I just wanted to remember this because I have another one of this team, but I wanted to remember that this was a sectional. So on this paper, and this is magic. So on this paper, I wrote sectional champs. So this is during the game, I wrote on the other team sectional champs. And I was like, oh, shit. So I had to counter and write it on the other side. Because technically what I just wrote and made the other team champs. So this is, and I know this may seem like simple magic, but this is how simple magic can be, how you can correct the magic. This is just how easy you can correct the magic. Now, for those that know and can pick up on that, that's, I'm giving that out. But this is how simple magic can be. You wrote one story and you can balance the other story out. And that goes into like negative thoughts. Like you trying to do something really positive, and then how many negative thoughts come in that you let come in? Like you done got this great idea, and all of a sudden some negative thoughts come in about your great idea, and you let those thoughts in. Why is that? Why for every great idea that most people have, there's got to be 3 or 4 negative thoughts? So that's how simple it can be corrected, y'all. You can write a story and you can change the story. And I talk about that all the time. Don't write stories. And that's why I say the guy, the Mexican brother told this joke. He said his father went in to see the doctor and the doctor told him he had cancer. He said, no, I don't. Because think about it. You didn't have cancer when you went in there. And the only reason you think you have cancer because this motherfucker just told you had cancer. Right? And now it really is. And they say that we use what? What was Lucy saying? We only use less than 10% of our minds. And the thing is, if you're not scared to die, it doesn't matter what the doctor says. Okay. Okay. It's like all this shit they say you eat and make you exercise. If you ain't scared to die, none of that really matters. Now, what does matter is you put certain things in you that'll stop you spiritually. There are certain things that you can eat that will fuck you up and stop you spiritually. And so that is why you might want to stay away from eating certain things. Because your spiritual self, you can put some of these parasites in you that will eat away from your spiritual side too. So let it just be yourself and pay attention to people around you. Be comfortable. And people, don't hide who you are. Let others hold you from your destiny. You are a reason. There you go. Do you fuck with? Oh, I usually get, let me tell you my disappointment. I've been just going straight edibles because my wax guy, the weather has been so freaking bad here. The last 3 weekends, we've got major snow. And so my wax guy hasn't been able to come up here. So no, I have, and I don't really like flour. I've got a fucking. Let me show you. I got a pre-roll here, and that shit is some hard shit. Oh my goodness. Where is it at? This is some. This is forgot these tops is like the pill tops. You gotta. This is called Moon Rock. Moon Rock pre-roll with the keef on it. So got the keef on the end. This shit is harsh though. I like bongs. And just hitting this, that ain't for me. I hit it every now and then, but if it ain't got no water, it ain't got no water. I don't like hitting that shit. So it's just been edibles. It's just been edibles. I have a question. Can some of these parasites have mind control effects, and could some of them be small but powerful? Just need a body. Could well, I guess that's kind of several questions, but the best I could say is this. There are a couple different kind of parasites. There are parasites that come in as attachments too. And so we don't necessarily eat those. And so when you allow, like take sugar for example, you allow this type of poison in you that has a euphoric effect. But yet the euphoric effect is destroying your parts of your body, especially your kidneys. So this is an indivisible sweet parasite that you gladly accept because of the way it makes you feel when you eat it. Now, other parasites will affect your brains. Other parasites just want to be in you, just feeding off you. Now, will they lower your vibration? Absolutely. Will they help you from getting enough spin? Yeah. So that's why you want to eat more natural things, because like I do show that you can get certain vibrations. All that helps. But I'll say this, if you look at the Buddha masters and the yogis, and one thing that's proven is the better you eat, the higher your spiritual self can go. I think that's been proven. So the better you eat, the higher spin you can get, the further your spiritual growth is. And that's the main thing, that you want to stay away from certain foods. So it has nothing to do with really trying to live longer. It's trying to live better spiritually. So I guess that's what I would say. Like an alien worm from Meteor or something. I would say that comes more from attachments than something we eat. It's easier to get that type of attachment than actually the entity or the parasite trying to get into something you might eat. It's easier for them to just, you're open to some suggestion and they can jump into you like that. So, could some of these parasites get through people's ears and take over like that? You still have to be open to all that stuff. You would still have to be open to that. That's what I'll say. If people are open, then yeah, these different orifices, these different channels of things can come in, because of course, different things want to come in different ways. So it's not just eating food; it's just different environments. And sometimes you can feel something that might hit your eye. It's just something that's trying to come in that way. And that could be a short little kind of parasite. It's just doing something short term. Some attachments want to stay a little longer, and so you've got to rid yourself. That's why I have so many zoo lights around. They're good at getting rid of that kind of thing. So it's making me eat buttered popcorn, salt. Oh, I go to the movies and then I went to the game. So yeah, I get killed with popcorn. I don't want to, but I am starving. I'm high. I understand that. There are Anunnaki and technologies that affect the subtle body, so it's important to clear your space. That's yeah. The black goo rabbit hole. But that's it, Leonard. That's definitely it. That's definitely it. By clearing your spaces, that's the thing of drinking. One reason why, I took a break from drinking, and I had a couple beers tonight, but I took a break for drinking for about 8 weeks is because, again, it takes away from meditating. If you drink alcohol, you really can't get enough spin to meditate. I mean, really, alcohol kills dreams. If you look at heroin as being the drug dream, alcohol would be the opposite of that. Alcohol wants to deaden you from having dreams. So then it wants to lock you into dreaming when you're out in the real world. It wants to live your dreams like that. And so instead of you being here now, you start living in these, when you're wasting time. You drive, and so you don't even think about driving because you can instinctively drive. So you start meditating. So you start, thinking about what else you could be doing. You could be driving a better car. You could be living in a better house. You could be doing this. So you use your imagination to take up time because the alcohol is deadening your dreaming. So, and that's the main reason why. Because I like to meditate during the day the most of the time. It's a lot of traffic at night. Most people, do their spiritual work at night. So when you do your spiritual work at night, it's a lot of people out there, a lot of beings. And again, those of you that don't think there's other life forms, meditate and you see these other life forms. That's the easiest way to see other life forms. So, I mean, if this reality was really real, people couldn't really have visions. They couldn't. What is the word I'm looking for? It's like I know, a lot of you been doing the dog man and the wolf man kind of stories, but susceptible. It's not even susceptible. That ain't really quite the word. It's susceptible, but the other part of it is you'd be more sensitive to seeing that kind of thing too. Yeah. Not that you've implanted yourself with that idea, but the way the vibration would go, your vibration might be like close to that kind of thing. So you might be vibrating the way that kind of thing vibrates. So you might be more susceptible to see or have an experience with that thing. It's kind of how you would create it, I guess. People in government would be the right type of people to be open to things like that. These parasites were smart. Wouldn't they want to control the highest people on the planet? Yeah, somewhat, yeah. The last 3 years feels way weird to me. It's like people are starting to forget about what has happened. Yeah. They kind of do. I mean, we just really, we had our reality warped a few years ago, and so they've changed up. I mean, Wes Benary talks about, how they slowed down time in the 80s and how crack was used and cocaine was used in the 80s. And then when time was sped up after 2012, because they were scared of 2012, parts of me, they did not know what to expect from 2012. But anyway, then they brought the heroin back. And, now we're on that kind of, from 2012 until this COVID stuff hit, this is when they changed again. So this is kind of how they changed our reality. And how they imprint us, how they try to tune us. If you don't tune yourself, that's an excerpt from Dark City. That's why you should tune yourself. But another part is I've talked about this all the time, is know your thoughts. Know when a foreign thought comes to you. As I was just talking about a few minutes ago, when when you have all these positive ideas and positive thoughts, and then the negative thought just comes, where the fuck does it come from? Here you are, just in just a total creative process, and then you've come up with a great idea, and then all these negative ideas come about, and sometimes the negative ideas can be so strong to make you forget what the positive idea you came up with. It'll give you 10 reasons to forget about it and make you move on. It's kind of how it works sometimes. So what is really about right now? Greed? Oh, of course. They want you to be greedy. That's why they're constantly putting people in front of young people to make you want more. Make you not want to be here now. Make you only think about tomorrow. Like people go so-called rob a rapper of his chain with, that's a short-term idea. I mean, how much can you really get for that? You've got to fence it to somebody that can break it up, and how much they really going to give you for it? And if it's fake, you done killed this man for a fake something. And Drake said it. Drake said he could pay off his boys with just buying them a $300-400 belt. Gucci belt. That's how easy it is to buy some people off. So, So the key is to be here now, all the time, right now. There's nothing better that you've done than right now. Nothing better than what you've done, what you are doing right now. Every moment that you live, that is the best. That moment is the best. Don't worry about what happened 5 minutes ago. Don't worry about what's about to happen. Worry about what's happening right now. And tune right now. Now, I mean, if you got a weird feeling, start tuning. Tuning. That's raising vibrations, with however you want to call it. It's tuning. Making yourself the better. You start feeling anxious, start tuning yourself. Find that center point to make that anxiety go away. Or at least make it where you can deal with it till you get to move on. And you just don't give in to the fear, the panic. Man, that candle smelled good, but oh my goodness. I wanted to smell it, but so. And it's not easy. I mean, this is a different world. It's like every so often the world changes. And that makes you, question the reality of it. If it was a real world, it would never really change. Then they're trying to tell you that this technology is technology and ain't nothing but a type of magic that they copied. And this is a thing that is so patient. That's funny. The entity that the people pray to is so patient. But when people go to church, what people don't understand is they try to say that this is, you have to be patient for these gifts or your tithes. You have to be patient. Because it's telling you, this is how this beast is. This beast is the most patient beast in the world. Because they have, they have the outer time. They have the multiple time. When was that last time it changed that you caught it? A couple of years ago? Well, it changed. The COVID stuff was a change too. That was a reality ripple. The COVID stuff, however you look at it, was a reality ripple. So from 2012 to 1920 was a reality ripple too. So that's when it changed. But it changed. The first change came in when they slowed time down. 86, 87 was really when it really hit, when they really slowed down. And then they started putting the cocaine in because they wanted, it's really funny the way they wanted drugs, because really the drug from the 30s until really the 40s and 50s was alcohol and opiates. That was really the drug. And that was the way time was because we had so many casual heroin users. not addicts, but casual users for so many years. And so that was the difference when people started using cocaine. They went from casual users to full blown addicts. When heroin really wasn't that. And until crack was made and it was just basically freebasing and it was powder, again, you had casual users. Crack made addicts. Freebase made addicts. Remember, Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye, Ray Williams, the basketball player, they were on freebase. Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown, they was on freebase. They weren't on crack. And freebase made addicts, and that's what crack made. Powder didn't necessarily make addicts. Powder, and see, that's why when you look into the drug laws was like this, knowing that the people that fuck with crack made addicts. The people fuck with powder made casual users. So, greetings, A-Win. Hey, Queen VG, thank you for joining me. They told everyone was running out, so they went to the stores and bought it. It ended out, well, you know, I wouldn't even say this. That was a sucker move on us, because when they see, again, that was propaganda. That was propaganda for the mass. If you can get everybody to buy toilet paper, you can get everybody to wear the mask. So, really, I mean, there was nothing to buy more. Yeah. But that was propaganda that people fell for. But that goes into showing who's real and who's not real. Because the person that's real ain't going to go buy a bunch of toilet paper and think that's the last. Because, you know, before toilet paper, people's wiping their ass with a bunch of other things. So if you run out of toilet paper, I'm sure you'll find something to wipe your ass. I know a con man. This con man went in with nothing. He ended up with $70,000 worth of property. He has a shack. He has 2 cars. But he doesn't have running water in his house, and he has to shit in a bucket. He has to shit in a bucket. He has to go out in his land and dig holes and put it in his land, like the old outhouse. So can you imagine inviting a woman over to your house, and the woman gets bubble guts, and she's like, "Ask, where's your bathroom?" And you're like, "Well, baby, I got that. You see that golden bucket over there? Why don't you take it wherever in the corner and, you know, do your business, and then I'll go bury it in the back." That's not very pimpy, is it? So do you see how the con man, he won in this con, but he's got a shit in the bucket right now. He's living like people lived in the 30s or 40s. He got running water, but he don't got a toilet in his house. So I don't even know how he washes his ass. So the con man got $70,000 worth of assets. But what is the word Sly says? I don't even want to say that. But he has to shit in the bucket. Did you see how I said? The guy has to shit in the bucket. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, sometime when you win, you lose. The buckets will be coming very soon for everyone. Well, it ain't here with me, baby. It ain't here with me. And that man sitting in Arkansas at this very moment probably shitting in the bucket. But sometime when you cheat people and you take advantage of sick people, you get what you want, but it didn't fully come like what you want. That's like the movie Bedazzled, you know. The devil will give you the deal, but the deal ain't fully good. What do they call these drugs? Side effects. You like it bedazzled, you know. They made him 7 foot, but he sweated crazy, and they only gave him meat about that big, you know, playing Shaq. So that's these deals these people sign. It's like the man that in the John Wick movies, 60 years old. The moment you make that deal with the devil, when your number is called, ain't nothing you can say. Just sit there and be like, "Oh, okay. I didn't think it was going to be today." Well, they come in and they tell you, you know, the numbers add up today, buddy. So you got to go. So how do you want it? Because your numbers got to say you died today. So how do you want it? Do you want the Cleopatra, let the snake bite you and just, you want the shot, you know, the cocktail shot, just let you, however it's going to come. We got to choke you the fuck out, whatever it is. What do you want? Because you going down today, so how you want to go down? You want to be Keith Ledger and get burned the fuck up in a car? Because you're dying today. How do you want to die? I want to die in that long line. That's a little bit of a Richard Pryor joke. It was funny. St. Patrick's Day, you know, we had the white out, so everybody's wearing the white at the thing. But I wore my those LeBron 19s. Oh my goodness, they are the most comfortable shoes ever. And they got a little bit of green on the bottom, but oh my goodness, I've been wearing them for the last 3 days. My feet don't hurt. Oh my goodness, yeah, I love those. I buy good shoes because my feet hurt, and if I don't wear good shoes all the time, I'm sore and I can't really walk like I want to, and I can't hit that thing over there like I want to, you know. So I wear good shoes, and that's just something I understand about myself. I can't wear gaiters anymore. Well, I guess they got gaiters that got a little bit of the padding in them, but I've got some boots. I just stuck them under my daughter's bed because it's like I can't wear them boots, and boots ain't got nothing in it that, you know, spongy enough. There's some dress boots, and I got dress shoes. All that stuff is going into the lockers, or I might sell it eventually. I don't know. Had to put a nice amount for a Celtics win on St. Patrick's Day. Oh, that sounds solid. Version of the Puerto Rican Day Parade. St. Patrick's Day is the European version of the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Well, it's also, you know, the celebration of killing the Twa people by the first Christoph Columbus, which was St. Patrick. He was also a Christopher Columbus. You can look that up. That was also his title. It wasn't just St. Patrick. He was also a Christoph. He was also Christoph Columbus because he had the same thing as genocide. And we celebrate the genocide. You know, when they talk about taking away the snakes, it's genocide. But it's also a day of drinking. The Irish, I like Irish people because Irish people mostly do not like English people. So, and they fought them. So I do like that aspect of it. I wasn't going to drink none of that green beer because it's not very strong. So, but that's the full version of it. You know, it's like you can celebrate it, but understand it at the same time. So, had to put a nice, yeah. So how long have I been going? I'm not gonna go too long, but it's good. It's good coming and celebrating with you guys tonight. You know, after the day I had, I just don't get these cats that don't want to be around people. Don't really want to be in the real world. Don't want to be in America. Be scared to be in America. I don't get that. Life is not easy, but yet you can make it enjoyable as possible. I mean, really, anybody in America can get to the point where you can have anything you want. That's it. That's it. That's success. That's comfort. Is to be able to sit there and say, I want something, and I can go get it. I ain't got to rob nobody, and I can go get it. But the other part is what do you want? That's the other part that you have to understand about maturity. What is it that you really want? Is what you want helping your family's life? Is what you want helping you toward your goals? Is what you want helping you toward your artistic expression? These things have to be considered. Or are you just, you know, are you frivolous? You know, you still spend like a child. It was like this is reality. I'm talking shit about my daughter not having a coat if the car break down and shit. But the reality is, if we was stuck in the car somewhere where she was freezing, she would get my coat. That's the reality. I would give her my coat. I would freeze before she would freeze. So yet I'm trying to parent, but the reality is if something was in that real thing and I would be cold before she would be cold. And I think most parents would feel that same way. I mean, what is experience? What is experience if you can't try to prepare people for these experiences? And you can't prepare people or try to help people to understand that right now is okay. What is that song? I can make right now be okay. I can make right now be okay. And that's how you got to be locked in. You got to be locked in all the time. You can't let any distraction, any daydreaming, you got to be locked in. You got to be here now all the time. You have to remind yourself to be here now. And if the fear program and the most they got is death, because that's the biggest fear program. If you live a certain life and know you can't get locked up, what other program they going to scare you with other than death? If you live in a life where they can't do shit to you, they fear you about going to jail, and you just living a good life, what else can they give you but fear? That's the only way they can attack you. Once you get to your life and say, "Hey, I'm living okay. If I want that cheesecake tomorrow, I can go get it. I may not can get the vet, but I can go get me a Toyota Supra." So these are mature people think. I don't dress a certain kind of way. I don't wear jewelry to impress anybody but me. I don't tell jokes to make anybody laugh but me. I wear this shit because this helps me vibrate. Not for anybody else to look at me and say, "Hey, whoa, look at that guy." I don't need that kind of attention because I've already reached that point where I know my shit is good. Irish people have black in them. Well, the Twi was melanated people for sure. I just remembered how I was hooked to playing Tetris in the back of the class till I failed. The game was addicting. Now they have a movie about it. Well, yeah. These are the most addictive things that we have. This is addiction. This is an addiction. I mean, I know I ain't the only one that wake up and hold this motherfucker for about an hour when you wake up. When I'm drinking my coffee, I hold this motherfucker for an hour and doing shit. And I know I ain't the only one. And I'm not embarrassed to say that shit. I wake up and I'm like looking at shit. I'm looking at my schedule. I'm looking at what the fuck, is anything scheduled, any meetings. How's money doing? How's my stocks doing? How's gold doing? How's the children doing? I ain't the only one. Look at this shit, man. God damn. This right here is, let me see if I can show y'all this. I probably could just put it on the screen, but this is some bullshit, y'all. Look at this shit. Right now, it is fucking 7 degrees. What sense does that make? What is the wind chill factor? Feels like -10. Look at this shit. Feels like -10. Fucking, what is this? Northeast kind of wind of 14 miles an hour. Visibility is only 7 miles an hour because there's so much blowing, a little bit of blowing snow. And then next week is going to be in the 40s, about time. But we're going to get rain and snow next week. So that's how it is in the great white north, y'all. Paler, maybe they should have a class about Tetris. Maybe the school failed you. That's a good point. That's a good point. That is a good point, Jeffrey. Learn more truth from Tetris than from the lies they taught you in school. Well, like they say in South America, the old Mayan saying, you teach yourself. You become the teacher and you teach yourself. And you teach your students to teach themselves. That's what the teacher's job is. The teacher's job is to teach students how to teach themselves. That's it. I mean, all these books I got behind me, I'm teaching myself. I was hearing a brother talking about physics, and it's like I've taught myself a lot of physics, understanding the double slit and locality, non-locality, that kind of shit. I just naturally started studying that shit. Same with stocks. Just start studying that shit, watching watching the business channels. A lot of y'all, got 401ks and shit and don't even know what the fuck you invest in. Letting them just blindly put it in. You just put money in. You should understand. You can manipulate that stuff. Oh my goodness, I was a popcorn eating food today. Damn, do y'all know how easy it is? Do y'all know how easy it is to like just spend like what is this, Friday? I've spent just $1,000 this week on food, gas. Did go to movies, went out to eat 3 or 4 times. It's like, man, this money just builds up. By Wednesday, I had spent like $500 on just going out and shit. Not really going out, but just like buying food, buying gas. And then by today, that $500 turned into 2 days, I spent damn near another $500. It's like today, just going to the game and going out to eat, we spent damn near $200. Just going to a high school game and going out to eat afterwards. 4 people. Going to a high school game, buying food at the high school game, gas, and going out to eat afterwards. It was almost like a 200-day night. And we just went to the Lucky 13. Soon AI will be teaching in class. I don't know. I hear you. I hope you didn't take it. Me criticizing dressing. Shit, I dress well. I am sensitive to other people's energy. Yeah. Because it's just funny. When I went into Lucky 13, it was like the music stopped playing. Everybody checked me out. Because, motherfuckers don't wear Kangos like this anymore. And I'm wearing, the full length parka and shit, Max Jr. full length. So, I understand that. But I know what I present. And I'm confident in who I am. It's like they say, when people get robbed, it's people that don't look like, if you look like you're organized, the chances of you getting robbed is less and less. If you look like you organized. Like if your shit is together, the odds of you getting, they look for people that look disorganized. But if you dress organized, the odds of you getting robbed are less and less. Plus, I wonder how Nick, like Nick was saying, the dude was mean mugging him over some packages and shit. It's like, how do you feel when, niggas walk near the cars? Because I be feeling a certain way too. I be like, they don't even walk by my car, dude. Hey, yellow boy. Love you, brother. 8 win. Just dropping to soak up some game before I go back to bed. It's almost 2 a.m. Got to get up at 6. Yeah, it's freaking, what is it here? It's 1:39. Thank you for joining, though. Yellow boy 3rd. I appreciate it. What I spend a month on DoorDash smoking alone is embarrassing. Oh, my goodness. Like I should just break down and buy a box of these little blindies. I should, because it's only $200. And I'm spending like I chew up like three to five a week, and that's $5 a pop. So, it's just cheaper for me. I should just get a humidor and just buy a box. That's what I should just do. And it'll probably last me for months instead of just buying them like this. But at the head shop, I spend $100 every time. Because the edibles is a motherfucker. I like that, I can take an edible and, 2 hours later, I'll be like, ooh, damn, what is this? It looks pretty cool. No, but it's like, I take one, and then 2 hours later, it just is with you, and it's like it just grooves with you. It ain't got to smoke. So, yeah, but we got Chinese from Jackie. What is it called? Jimmy Choo's. I know y'all got them. We ate that last night, and tonight, I like Reuben sandwiches. I don't mind corned beef and cabbage. I love corned beef. I eat corned beef almost every other day in a Reuben sandwich. But the cabbage, I like cabbage, but goddamn, I don't like the cabbage farts. So had to pass on the cabbage today. But they had some good shit. Like, I didn't want a burger. They had some Reuben bites. They were Reuben bites. So they were corned beef, sauerkraut in like a little egg roll, like a half egg roll with Thousand Island dressing. They gave me about 7 or 8 of them. On the money. On the money. Just thought everything to set a small grow. Hopefully my boy has some fire clones. I ain't gonna go that far, but they're about right now. They're about to pass the laws here in Minnesota. Did y'all see they passed a law here where if people want their children to be gender changed, this is gonna be a rest haven for that? Did y'all see that? See how they do it here? They freaking gonna pass weed, but then they pass this thing where if a person wants to whack off their shit and you want to start giving children hormones, this is a safe haven. Safe haven. So do you see the give and take of having a liberal state? Since this actor died, are you going to see John Wick 4? Do you feel like they're trying to get your energy with his death now? Well, I said that story last night. I've already got tickets to go next Thursday. I already bought tickets to go next Thursday. So when that man signed up, he knew that the Grim Reaper could show up anytime. So that's a good question. Like what Jeffrey said is, since this actor died, are you going to see John Wick, and do you feel like they're trying to get your energy with his death now? I think they're trying to build up the energy for this movie and all the death you're going to see in the movie. I mean, what John Wick? As I said, the scene with him and Halle Berry killing them dogs, they killed 50 people. I mean, every John Wick movie, I think the last one was 250 people killed. And that's a lot of murder you see. That's a lot of killing. And you take a side. I mean, that's what's good. If you look at psychologically what it does, it makes you a psychopath because you cheer for the killer. You care nothing about the people he kills. You cheer for the killer. So does that turn you into a psychopath? I mean, I think that's what's in Jeffrey's question. Do you become a psychopath because you cheer for the killer? Because everybody that watches John Wick, you cheer for him. You hope he kills everybody. And he's going to kill upward of 300 people. Does that make us psychopaths because we cheer for the killer? That we want to see him kill. We want to see him kill with a gun. And what did Dr. Westling say? That the gun symbolizes, the dick for the European? The gun symbolizes, the phallus for them? And then you have Superman with a gun? Remember the TV series 24? Kiefer Sutherland got some new shit. All he needed was a 40 and a cell phone to save the world every week. That's all he needed. He needed a 40 to keep motherfuckers off him when he needed to shoot at them. A 40 would always protect him, and a cell phone. And he saved the world every week. Y'all remember that? 24? Batman is technically evil. Joker, Bane, the League of Shadows, all the other villains are trying to free the people from the elitist society, which enslaves them. Oh, I like that. I'm going to read that again. Pale Horse Rider says, Joker, Bane, the League of Shadows, all the other villains are trying to free the people from the elite society, which is enslaving them. Yeah. Is Batman evil? Well, I'll say this. Batman is what they is one of the entities that they captured from South America. The cow we know comes from a Mayan bat god. They copied it. They saw it years and years ago, and that's what they copied and they put in there. So is that so? But yeah, that's a good point. Absolutely right. Because Batman is elitist. Bruce Wayne is elitist. Now, Superman is more of a working man, but Batman is definitely elitist. And so that's a good point. So is he evil? It's yes and no. He's evil and good at the same time. Bane was going to Nuka City. Batman works for the corporate structure. Indeed, he does. Indeed, he does. Indeed, he does. And it's kind of he's good and bad at the same time. And this makes me I want to tell people as I've said before, you know, there's a false narrative here of Paul Bunyan, because there's a giant protector, especially in this area. But I've in tune with the giants here, so I just say this is there's different kind of guardians. Like I said on Sly's show, I said about the Luciferian bat that actually giant bat like being, man, God, entity that showed me as one of his guard. That is one of my guardians. And it appears like that is under the Luciferian, no doubt. And I'm not, there's no evil attached to that. But I want to say this is once you start seeing guardians as giants, you're in a pretty good space. So as the giants come to you, understand that these are guardians that are unseen helpers for you. I wanted to get that out there today. I wanted to definitely get that out there. So you can understand if you start seeing these kind of things and you get these kind of visions, these are guardians. And the other part about the guardians is, are you vibing high enough to even be in contact with them? That's the other part you should consider. Is this something that you're even perceiving? So you have that protection. So be aware of that. Bane was a necessary evil. I love Superman just believing in doing good. These giants all underground or inside or wherever you want to call it. No, I don't say they inside. The one up here on this hill, I see where the Paul Bunyan comes in. They were trying to, Paul Bunyan is a lock. And so they were trying to lock this giant Indian, indigenous, whatever you want to call it. They was trying to lock this giant Indian energy away by calling it Paul Bunyan. But there's a giant energy that's around here that's that indigenous energy too. So how does it come to you? I say mostly in visions. Mostly in visions. That's kind of how they come to me. And what's funny about a vision? See, that's where, like, visions is where you really start fucking with quantum thought. Because quantum thought is the smallest thoughts you can have. That's quantum thought. The quantum gardens. That's really what they're trying to tell you. It's like really when you get into silver, and like what silver really does. Silver is the only metal that's really going to take you quantum with you. It's going to take all your cells quantum and cleanse them. But when you wear stones with silver, it is really going to go to its quantum state and make that stone do what it's supposed to do at the quantum state. If you understand that. So I get to saying this because some of these visions, you only get in microseconds. But in these microseconds, you damn near have a lifetime. Remember Narnia when they went in the closet and it appeared like they hold a lifetime and they was gone for 10 minutes? Some visions are really like that, and it takes you a long time to decode actually what you saw and what you experienced and what was there for you. So that's how they could come to you. I can't say this the same for everybody, but I'm just saying for me, that's how they've come to me. And yeah, guess that's all I can say. All these videos lately of giants being recorded, all I have one thing in common. They all are top of a mountain, which inside the mountain, there's tunnels, which you couldn't imagine underneath. They've been building cities underground for years. All of them 18-wheelers driving to the side of mountains, bunkers. Well, yeah, I mean, one thing that they came into is in the Gangs of New York really shows this is how, remember the one of the beginning scenes when they first show the housing in New York, and they do a open scene of how people just living in open rooms. Like you got families sharing just a big open room, but then when they pan below, you had all these granite tunnels because New York has all this granite and they're tunneled into that granite. And so the peoples in the Americas have tunneled into the granite. So that's another part that kills mud flood. You have all these people that have tunneled for hundreds and thousands of years through this granite around America, and just that lived underground for years. So that's nothing new. I mean, we think about the war in Vietnam. The war in Vietnam, these people damn near lived underground for what, 10, 15 years of the war? They had a complex near Da Nang Airport that was damn near just as big and just as complex as the airport, but it was all underground. So it's nothing new for people to live underground. These people ain't going to destroy everything on top because they need this. All these celebrities, all these entities that are the richest and the most successful, they need this. They need this. We don't. We don't. The time, this is what makes you superior, is when it's time for you to check out, you check out without any fears, without any attachments, without any regrets. You don't need more time. You say, okay, this is enough time. Chest pain, this is enough time. I'm ready to relax. That is what they don't want you to be. They want you to fear death. Oh, put that stuff inside me. Let me live another couple years. Clean out my soul from my body, but let me live a couple years. And you know what? Your family will say, well, you know, you're living for your family. No, you're always living for your own spiritual well-being. Deuce base. These so-called aliens have bases under bases. we have. I don't understand these underground living. I get so incredibly sad without the sun. Well, one thing that Wes Paneri kind of hints at is like what was forced in Lemuria. What we know about Lemuria more than any other time was the agreement with everything. What you see in Avatar is kind of what we see with Lemuria. When everything was in harmony with everything. When you would go to a bug and the bug would tell you what issues it was having. You touch a tree, it would tell you the issues. Where we didn't have to be parasites of anything. Whatever nourishment we needed was freely given. And that's the idea of Lemuria. It was a time where everything was truly in harmony with nature. That's Lemuria. Atlantis ain't that. But Lemuria is that. And that's not talked about very often. When everything was in harmony with everything. And then we know that period was attacked. Now, was it attacked with water? We don't know. But we know that that was one period where people had to go underground. Whatever attack came that attacked Lemuria, people had to go underground. And that's where we get the Lemurian crystals, where they're supposed to be encoded, and you can tap into that. But that's what the idea of Lemuria is everything in tune with everything. You didn't have to parasite because things were freely given. So. And of course, this beast don't want that. It wants you to parasite off everything. It does not want you to be in tune with everything. And everything that we are faced with is to take you away from your spiritual self and take you away from why you're here and the point why you're here. So. And all this space stuff and aliens. You ain't got to go to space to see aliens. You close your eyes. Aliens will start looking at you. They're like, how the hell he get here? And that's how it is. When you start astral traveling, you start hitting these realms, that's how a lot of these beings look. But you know what one of my guardians did? I astral traveled to a certain spot, and I don't even know if it's astral travel. I went to where, when I die, where I'm going to go, I went there. And I remember one of my guardians came by, and she just smiled at me because I didn't need her help. Because other times to get to that point, she had to help me. But this was one time where I was like on a balcony, and she just kind of floated by as a big head. But she smiled at me. She's like, you able to do it now. And that's what they can do for you. They can give you little hints. And so, you know, I just bring up Lemuria because that's the kind of thought we should have. We should be in harmony with everything. Now we're in harmony with very few things. Plants, animals, you know, pets. These are kind of the limit in harmony that we have with nature. And if you look at nature, it tells you that they killed all the trees. And all the trees we see, generally, then a few spots are 100 years old. Most of the trees are 100 years old, if that. So that's where the mud flood people were probably right about some things. But it gets into, is the reality real? Because if we look at nature, nature tells us it ain't a lot of old shit around us. And that's what the mud flood people woke up. It ain't a lot of old shit around us. They try to say some of this shit is old, but it doesn't appear like it. Doesn't appear like any of this shit is very old. And the things they say are old seem artificially old. You know how you can make something look older by doing things to it? You look at some of these sites and what they were before. Then they dig them out, and they're, you know, they dig them out, and all of a sudden everybody wants to go there. It makes you wonder, did they not just dig them out? Did they create these things? Remember, Kemet was nothing. The Arabs that conquered Kemet, they thought nothing of that place. Look at the Arab conquest. They thought nothing of that place until the French took over. The French took over Kemet, and they're the ones that discovered some of this stuff. It took the French to discover shit that the Arabs had. And the Arabs didn't even know they had that shit. And now the Arabs want to say that's their history when they didn't even give a fuck about it. It took somebody from Europe to say, hey, you got something back here. Exactly how I feel. Can you explain the mud flood stuff? I really don't understand it. All right. Basically what they're saying is that some flood came, that there was some great European. The mud flood says that there was some great Tartarian European society that existed, and something attacked it. And they buried all these mansions on Manhattan and around the world, and it took Europeans to come from Europe to discover this stuff. That's mud flood for dummies. That's what it is. That's what it is. It is a way to show that to make certain Europeans look ancient, because we know that it is not ancient culture. So that's what it is. And they want you to believe that only Europeans that came to America, that however they got Manhattan, that they just dug up all these mansions. And that these mansions had free energy that Tesla talked about. But, and then they talk about the orphan trains. Now, I'll give you a little bit of this. In 1850, an orphan train from New York did go to Michigan. I've caught that. Orphan train did go to Michigan. And so part of mud flood is saying that what if society just took teenagers and started over society with teenagers? Pretty soon the teenagers is great-grandparents. And so history goes no further than these great-grandparents that started as teenagers. So that's part of it too. But the best part of it is showing that this reality ain't that old. That's the best part of it. That's the only part I would concentrate on, because the other shit is just going to get you lost into some shit that making... And as I said before, I don't get the indigenous people, the woodland Indians that have taken this shit hook, line, and sinker, something that was basically debunked in 2016. So that's all I really got to say about that. The Great Reset. My parents can remember past their great-grandparents. Exactly. I can tell you stories about my great-grandfather where, you know, they would gin your cotton but they want to keep your seeds. And he was like, fuck that. I can gin my own shit. So he would gin his own shit because he got to keep his seeds. He was like, this is you're cheating me. You're going to gin my cotton, which is just removing the seeds, and then you're going to fucking keep my seeds that I can't plant if I like this crop or this type of cotton I'm growing. So my great-grandfather was like, fuck them. And he didn't move until the 50s, until they, you know, kind of, you know, when they were Jim Crowing people out of land. So, you know, you can take the mud flood how you want. Free energy has always been there. I mean, We're the only thing on earth that has to pay for to live places. I look at these squirrels and I think the trees that take the squirrels, but a squirrel can just fucking, make a little, get some leaves and get some mud and make him a little place where slow his heartbeat and he can live up in that fucking tree and ain't got to pay a dime. And ain't really no natural predators for a squirrel and rabbits around here. Coyotes don't really come around people. That's why there's deer sleeping in my backyard under some of these trees, because they know these coyotes ain't gonna come and chase them. And they know when hunting season, motherfuckers ain't chasing them around. So they come up, they like, we can go up around these people, ain't nobody gonna bother us. Because we know these coyotes ain't going around them people. Shit, when I used to live in my ex-house, when I had my Glock 23, and my cats I used to live next to a cow field, where the cows come and graze and shit. And then there's water at the lake. And so they'd let the cows out every now and then. But at night, wasn't no cows, because they would take the cows back over to the main farm. And I would see, them eyes out there. And I knew it was the coyotes because my fucking cats would go out in the pasture. And so I'd see them eyes or hear them out there yelping. I'd see them eyes. I'd start just busting out there because ain't no people out there. Shouldn't be people out there that time of night. I never shot anybody, but fucking was shooting at them eyes. I'd hear them out there yelping. If I saw those little eyes, I'd stand out there and just start busting at them coyotes. And yeah, they'd quit coming around, fucking with my cats. Yeah, I'm not sold on it. They can false flag anything. Oh yeah, that's right. This shit they about to do, saying about the aliens, they gonna make that shit look all true. These aliens came and yeah. They've got, and you know how they're gonna do it when the aliens come. They got some kind of magic or cure for some shit. They probably gonna come some shit to make you not have what is this shit called, hemorrhoids and shit. The aliens are gonna come and say we got a magical cure for hemorrhoids. Nobody will ever have hemorrhoids again. Or they might come and have some super good weed and shit, and just give all the black folks weed, all the melanated people. Be like, we got this super weed to make you not hate white folks so much. We'll give you this weed to make you forget racism. Oh, that soul dude, man, the more I listen to him, it's like, wow. Wow. To really say that Jewish faith people came from nothing to do America. To say that a lot of these cats came from nothing. And then, and for them to pass the other groups, success. When you think of a gangster, what do you think of? You think of Italian, when in fact there's probably more Jewish faith gangsters. Bugsy Siegel, Jewish faith gangster. Meyer Lansky, Jewish faith gangster. Meyer Lansky is the one that said we're bigger than U.S. Steel. But when you think of gangster movie, you think of The Godfather. You think of Italians. You see the propaganda they do. You don't tell about them and their rise through bootlegging and being gangsters, illegal. But he says their success. And then the banking that they've been in charge of since the Templars. And this man makes all these broad statements like there's no other factors. Like people just hate them because they're successful. Well, they just hate them because they're successful. They had nothing, they just successful. No, it don't work like that. Socioeconomical. That's what's holding most down. But again, you should be getting it. You should be getting where you're comfortable enough so it don't matter all these other things. None of that shit should matter to you. You should be doing well enough where none of that matters. We know racism is out there. We know classism is out there. But if you have your shit together and you get your shit together, you can be above that. And that's the reality. You can complain about it and be unhappy, or you can do something about it and be the best you and go get it. So it's the Murdoch Amin-Ra character from behind the scenes. Well, I to me, and I've said this before, to me, the being that is running all this is Yadabath. It appears like the being running this is called Yadabath or Yadaboeth. That seems to be the being that runs all this. Seems to be its reality. No God but I. Jealous God. The God that Sophie created outside of the other gods. Where she put it in its own reality, where it could create, and it looked at man. It was like they talk about heaven. It put it in heaven over man, where it could look down and see what man couldn't do, and yet in this realm it could create anything. And as I said before, the fall comes from Yadaboeth captured the Mai. That is the best out of Stinch's work. That is the only part of Stinch's work that I think he hit, was the Mai. And Yadaboeth went with the Mai. The Mai was the magic, the technology god. And that's the reality we live in. Now, where Lucifer comes in, where the fall comes in, for some reason, Yadaboeth gave Lucifer's the keys. And Lucifer seems to be the one that's fighting the Mai and Yadaboeth. And so Marduk is another name it calls itself. And so when we see in Hollywood and we see in the technology where the magic is kind of trying to help, but we see the fight there. Some of the good information is being released. A lot of the propaganda is being released. And that goes from both of these entities trying to, get their own message out there. Because both of them are patient. That's what a God is. A God becomes very patient. Because being a God is lonely. It's lonely being a God. I mean, who does the God go to when the God has a question? Who's the God go to when the God has a question? You don't think gods have questions? You think that's what it means being a God, that you just got all the answers? Like, ain't nothing never gonna come up to a motherfucker that there's gonna be a question sometime. Even a God ass start itching and he's thinking, damn, why is my ass itch? He don't really know. So who does a God? So being a God is lonely, but being a God teaches you patience. And that's what we deal with. That's what we have to deal with. I mean, look at they show in what is it called, Eternals, when he wants to give these people the first. What they show you in the Eternals is they show you the first real car, the steam engine car, and that's what he wants to give them. He wants to give them the steam engine car. And they're like, hey, that's, we got to be patient. We can't just give them too much. We got to give them just a blade where they can break up the dirt. Just give them a simple plow, and that's the tech. But that is how patient. I mean, they went from a fucking party line. You know that's what the first phones was? Like, the first people that got phones in any general area got party lines. Do y'all realize that? They got party lines. Thank you, Queen BJ. Thank you. That is so nice of you. But do y'all know that? The first people to get phones was party lines. That's one thing I used to do. Even in the mid-'60s, it was still party lines existed. My grandparents were still my great-grandparents were still on the party line. Where we could go and listen. And we listened to, certain people, like certain relatives was still on the party line with my great-grandparents. Because they were the first melanated people in Southwest Michigan to have a phone. They were the first people to have a car. My great-grandfather was the first melanated person in Southwest Michigan to have a car. And he was the first person to have an indoor toilet. And he was the first person to have a phone. And so when I was little, that's what we used to do, is go down to my great-grandparents' house and listen to party lines. And then I knew other people that had party lines and shit. And that would be like some entertainment and shit, listening to the fuck what other people are talking about. That's all people could afford at one time. I dated girls in elementary school that didn't even have phones in their house. They lived in apartments, and apartments had payphones. So they had to go in the hall and call me. Dime, nickel, dime. I think the payphones in my life went dime, quarter, 50 cents. So And yeah, I know that's a lot to take in. But I've been talking about the mind shit since 14. Those of you saw my other channel, I've always been talking about this. And we carry it around with us all the time. It wants to know everything. And we tell it everything. We tell it our secrets. We tell it where we at. We make it, make us feel good. Look in the phone and feel good. Look in the phone and have it's unbelievable the amount of people that talk about they have porn in this thing. I could imagine. I've never looked at porn on a telephone. I'm not into porn. That's a very demonic expression of sex. Is porn. You should not masturbate to porn. You should not have sex to porn. It is demonic. And it's something that we're talking about attachments. That is a prime example of attachment that can affect your sex life. And I've said this before, the divine feminine invented that shit. The divine feminine thought she was being ignored, and she invented that shit. Because the divine mother is all that freaky shit. And at first she liked it because it was sexual revolution. She liked it, like Richard Pryor said, the great pussy drought of the 50s. In the 60s, you didn't have that. And by the time you come to the 70s, 77, 78, 79, if you went to the club, you knew you was going to have sex. What did they make the movie called? Looking for Mr. Goodbar? I was 16, 17 in clubs and going home with grown-ass women. I told the story before. I went to Pittsburgh. I was in 10th grade. I rode the bus to go to Pittsburgh. My cousin takes me to a party. I meet a grown-ass woman in Pittsburgh. I'm 15 years old in this grown-ass party. I go home with this grown-ass woman. And she didn't poison me or do none of that shit. She probably thought I was a little older than what I was. But I'm just saying, that's how free it was. I could go to another city, and I was 6 foot at 15. And, I had the gift of gab. Then I went to her place and beat her brains out. So, she was like, oh, this guy's got it going. But that's how it was. It was almost expected. Hey, you, get off my mountain. Hey, you, get off my cloud. Well, how long have I been going? I go a couple more minutes, and I'm doing 2 hours. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm preaching to everybody. I have to be mindful of the way I say it. I have a lot of people I admire. And so I don't want to say things that make it sound like I'm attacking their work. And it's not that. It's just I want to approach it differently. Yeah, that's all. I have my own way of approaching things. That's all. And success is small. Because when you start talking, it's like, how many people really hear you? Especially when you get into spirituality, protecting yourself, how to increase your magic and your effectiveness in magic. Because it's a very patient process. It's not going to happen overnight. And as I say, the beast is very patient. So that's what we have to learn to be. And what goes with this? What goes with this patience is understanding the little things that you succeed in magic. If you have a little, now I know this, I know writing on this paper doesn't seem like a big thing. But when I wrote the other team and I wrote sectional champs, you see, I'm writing a book. You see? So I just wrote over that the other team was going to win. So simple correction is just saying, okay, I got to write this on the other side. Now, I know that sounds simple, but that's what I'm trying to tell you is that's how simple magic is. And successful magic can be that simple. you first glorify the little things. And then the big things, when the big things come. Now, I've told you about an ice storm. I was coming back through Michigan. It was nice all the way. I got 100 miles from Minnesota, and I hit a fucking ice storm. Now, if I don't have a relationship with the wind gods, how the fuck am I going to ask for help now? I mean, how am I going to ask for something that I never asked for before? Now, I know a lot of religious people say, well, I pray to Jesus every day, and, it's the same thing. It's really not. Because at the time, I need this wind and this weather to keep me grounded. I don't need an overall kind of entity to help me. I need you two entities to help me keep me in this ground, keep me moving through this. Specific help I needed. Because I practice and I'm thankful for this stuff. And so, this is how patient you have to be. And forgive yourself. Because if you can't forgive yourself, nobody else will forgive you. And that goes without saying, love yourself. Because you can't love anybody else unless you love yourself. You can't heal anybody else. Well, I don't know if we necessarily want to heal other people. That ain't everybody's role. So, that's not everybody's role. But yeah, just heal yourself. Find joy. Find happiness where you can find it. And recognize happiness and joy. Well, just joy. Because happy, you got to accept sad. You know that opposite. The office had the nerve to get busy on a Saturday morning. I'm still listening. Okay, brother. While you making that big money. I understand. I understand that. But, just thank you guys, because I know, I'm backwards technology, and I'm trying to get it together. I still don't have everything set up. So, Divine One might come on tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see if I can get her on. I got to call her back. She's been wanting to practice, and she's got her site going. So, yeah. So I think I'm going to have to crash. I've got like 4 women that want to go eat pancakes in the morning. Like, it's a pancake place within a mile of my house, but they want me to drive 10 miles to go to the same chain, but 10 miles away. That makes no sense to me. My mother didn't go to the game. Everybody else went to the game. My mother didn't go to the game tonight, so everybody's supposed to get together. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I am going to sleep in. I'm going to wake up whenever I feel like waking up, and I'm going to drink coffee, eat some cereal with bananas in it, and then get ready watching these games, So, thank you everyone again. And for people that have rocked with me, gosh, thank you. Thank you. People have been patient with me. Thank you. People that watch my shows when I was doing them on the phones, thank you. Because my daughter killed my other computer, and took me a minute to get everything together. And then I moved, so. But I just try to get out my truths and what I live and what I experience. And if it's one person that can get a little bit out of that, then thank you. I hope it helped. But as everything, as in everything, discernment is the key. And patience and practice. Because without practice, it's not going to happen for you. So whatever your spiritual connection is, practice it. There's no other way. That's why you see all the Bible thumpers, they into the Bibles. They read the different Bibles because they want to be able to sharp with that. Well, you don't need that to be sharp. There's a lot of other information out there that keeps your mind sharp in your spiritual journey. And it should be practiced the same way, whatever your interest is. Because sometimes your interest will turn into something spiritual. So, Ooh, don't limit yourself. Oh, this chair. This is like one of my first investments. I had to take the door off to get this chair in here, but my goodness, you guys, you know, what I had to show a picture of my old chair. My old chair was old wooden satin bottom, you know, the old wooden satin bottom chairs, because I had for my table, I had the armchairs, all satin bottoms, and then I had a cushion from my old chair. So I could only stand this. So one of the first things I wanted to have is something that if I chopped it up for a while, I would be comfortable. So this is one of the certain things. But all my tech people, thank you. I am like forever watching Siova's videos. I am ever watching Nick's videos, because, you know, I'm so backwards with this technology that if I don't watch this stuff over and over again, and all of them have been helpful. So thank you. You know, don't think that I haven't watched your stuff. You know, I'm trying to learn, but the tech guys, that's why you see me watching these other people, because I show support for one. I support people for one. But the other part is there's things I can learn. So you're never too old to learn. So everyone should be back tomorrow night, 12 or a little later. So thank you for joining me. We'll go over the basketball tomorrow, the games. And till we meet again, this is Big Pontiac, holder of the Infinite Secret Ball Game created by the Hero Twins. Till we meet again.